welcome to the Morning DNA for May 23rd, 2022. I'm Aaron Dyster, the man of a single green shirt.
Why are you wearing
She
green?
is Danae Hughes, the woman of a million distractions, and we're here to find out
Why are you
what
wearing
this
green? That's
day
what we're going to find out. We're
is
going to find out
made
why
of.
you're wearing green.
I put on a green t-shirt this
Accidentally?
morning.
Purposefully?
Accidentally. I got dressed in the dark. What can I say?
But I thought all of your shirts were green. I mean, black. Wow.
Yeah, I recently got a
It's
green one. I don't know what's going on, guys. There's just changes in my life, and it's a midlife crisis. My midlife crisis is I wear a green shirt instead of a black one. So
Yeah.
So there we go.
Well, things are strange all around. Chat immediately noticed that you were wearing something you're not supposed to be wearing, and
Sorry.
Don't Connect notices that
Should I take it off? Should I take the shirt off?
Yeah, for sure. Noticing that, yes, I've been embellishing my space. I continue to find things and be like, where am I going to put this? Can I tell you something, Aaron?
Yeah, please do.
So, you know how we're being spied upon by all of the ads and everything we search for becomes something that's suggested to you on your phone through browsers or apps or whatever. So I have a Google Pixel, and so I'm already mainlined into Google at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been years of them seeing my search history, and all my emails are like the Google email. So they know me well, and now I have their phone. So I don't know what this is, but now I'm starting to get, you probably think it'd be like, oh, you said couch and now it's giving couches. No. I'm starting to get a very tailored type of update about trends for decorations that's called maximalist. I wonder why. I mean, it's like the new trend is maximizing your space and displaying everything that you have in clever ways, and minimalism is out and maximalism is in, as long as you know how to display it to where it doesn't look like clutter and like you have some sort of a problem. You know, your collections have a place to be. And I'm like, I feel like I'm ahead of the curve this time. I feel like either Google is sending me stuff.
It's a feature.
Yeah, they're either sending me the stuff because they're like, she needs to feel good about how much stuff she has. So let's send her these highly curated blog posts that really no one else is seeing. It's not really a trend. We're just going to tell her it is.
Right.
So she feels better about herself. Or I am like super ahead of the trend here, because one of the things I read this morning was how minimalism is out. Like after pandemic, with everyone living in their homes, there's all these home trends that are quote unquote out now, which I never pay attention to anyway. It's all a bunch of crap. It's just to sell you stuff. But anyway, like now it's like open floor plans, not so popular because everyone needs a place to work. So you need to have closed off spaces. And also minimalism is out because your stuff has to go somewhere. And so figure out how to make it look cool. Anyway, I was really intrigued by that. I feel like, I don't know what Google is doing, but they're doing something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have always been a minimalist, whether it's in or out. So we reorganized some of our kitchen shelves this week and threw away like 30 mugs. It's just
but you meant donate, right?
No, we throw stuff away. So yeah, I can listen. No, I'll bring it over to your house. Yeah, you can go donate it whenever you feel it's appropriate. I'll bring it over to your way. I
am judging you hard for that.
There's way too much stuff.
Nobody can donate it.
Nobody wants my bugs.
I don't agree. But you know what? I have my own opinions about that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to put up a judging banner. I feel like I need to have a judging banner.
You're judging me so hard, my camera's out of focus. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
I need to move it to my side. There we go.
There you go. Judging hardcore. Yeah, no, I throw stuff away. It could go somewhere else.
Yeah, there's plenty of things that need to go to the landfill.
Yeah, why not? It's not like we're running out of space or anything. I mean, come on.
I do understand mugs. Mugs is definitely one. I had to ask people to stop buying things for me. It's like I love getting a really great gift, but like a good gift for me is a delicious meal. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
Like take me somewhere I haven't been before. Let's try that great dessert or that flavor that I've never tried, and then we'll talk about that meal forever. I don't wear a lot of jewelry. I don't know. So people like but they gift giving is such a part of our lives.
Mhm.
Consumerism is such a big
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
so I used to get lots of mugs and I had to do a mug purge. I was able to take my mug collection down to 15 from like 7,000, I'm pretty sure. It was a
Yeah.
lot. It was a lot. You
Yeah.
have to have the space for it. And if you don't have space for it, then
So we did a full, like, we put like all the mug coffee tea supplies in the cupboard right above the coffee in kettle. So like we're also reorganizing for practical reasons. So now
oh,
everything is in a better place. So it was really nice to do. I love that kind of
yeah.
stuff. For sure.
Purging is good. Especially I know you guys know this already, but I have a someone that I hired to help do personal organization. When we were selling our house years ago, I knew that one of the most important features of selling a house are the pictures that are taken. And we had exterior pictures taken because the spring and the greenery was all looking beautiful and our
Hmm.
yard looked great. So we like took exterior pictures, but we weren't quite ready for the interior ones.
Right.
And so I hired someone to help us kind of figure out how can we hide all of our stuff to where it looks like we've got like this beautiful house, which we
Hmm.
did, but we also had, been living in it for a while. And I ended up keeping her on as somebody who comes to the house at that time regularly, and she helped me for over a year, like a year and a half, I want to say,
Hmm.
learn how to organize and declutter and like the process of letting things go. And one of my favorite things that she would do is at the end of our sessions, she would take all the stuff and she
Yeah.
would donate it, which is really, really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we should donate stuff. We always talk about it. The problem is for us, what ends up happening is we just ends up having bags of clutter instead of clutter in our, cupboards
Yeah.
because nobody gets over to donate anything
Yeah.
anywhere. And yeah, so
No, I
but yeah, we
understand.
should we should
I
do it.
get it.
We
I
should
get
do it
it.
for sure.
It's
Um
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Lolly says, Aaron has tea supplies, heart.
Oh,
Yeah, that
wow.
Ian has
Hmm.
changed my life.
Ian is our friend from England.
The land of Eng. Yeah, he taught me what an English tea really is, and also introduced me to PG Tips, which works really well with just a couple tablespoons of sugar. No teaspoons of sugar. No,
Tablespoons?
no, no, no
Jiminy
teaspoons.
Cricket.
No, no, no teaspoons. Couple teaspoons. No, 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 no teaspoons. I said it wrong. I said it wrong. And the exact proportion of milk that should go in the tea to give it that nice color. And yeah, my wife and I have a cuppa every day. Kind of wind down with a cup of tea, and
Yeah.
it's really nice. We have all these different teas that we've just had in our cupboards, which we also organized yesterday. We will probably try some of those, but what I've also learned from Ian is like Americans think tea is like this flavor, like you have to
You have to add
flavor it.
flavor
You have
to
to add
it.
like all these, different flavors to it. And um, so yeah, that's not I don't expect to like the other teas, and I don't know that you can make them the same way. Like if you're supposed to add milk to the other teas or sugar or but yeah, no.
My favorite part was when Ian this is not my favorite part. One of my favorite things that happened was this is going to sound so nasty. Ian got sick. That's not we're it's the next thing I'm
One of my
saying.
favorite things is
It's
when my friend got really, really sick.
it's like the next thing that I'm
Uh-huh.
it's related to that. And so the idea was that we were going to like try to help him get better. And so he said, I think maybe I'll try one of those herbal teas. And so I'm going through all of the herbal teas that we have. And he took one sip and he was like, that is disgusting. And it had like licorice root and marshmallow root and like I don't know, there was all these different things that were in it that we were looking
Mhm.
up that were hopefully going to help him with his cough. And
No, not
he was
happy.
not okay.
Mm-mm.
And that's just the tea we're used to, is just these really strongly flavored kind of
We think of
teas.
tea as unsweet or sweet, and it's cold. It's always iced tea. Like we don't really do hot teas here. It's just not something America brought over from. In fact, it probably does stem from the separation, right? Like we threw the tea into the ocean. Like it's probably was one of the main ways we're like, nope, not doing that. English forebearers.
I want to go. Let's see. There's been so many comments here. Oh, well, let's go this one from Polly first. Polly says, as Donald Pleasance once said in The Great Escape, tea without milk is so uncivilized. A favorite quote. I had never had milk in my tea. I didn't
know that was a thing.
I probably have. My mom probably has. Did you even know that was
a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing.
I knew it was a thing. I just I haven't done it in my adult life that I remember ever. Jets is giving me crap saying, Danae, I love when my friends are sick because it makes me feel better about myself. That's exactly what I said. Thank you. But I do want to get to this one from Doc, who writes, I remember seeing this animated bit from a podcast years ago, and one of the hosts was like Danae in a lot of ways, actually. They joked that she would collect so many mugs that everyone did an intervention and had her lose all of her mugs. Then they joked that she replaced the mugs with cats. I took so long to type this, the subject has now changed. So funny.
Very nice, Doc. Very nice.
Oh my God.
Indeed.
What a wonderful way to start the show. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. We go live every Monday and Sunday. Although we have been traveling, it's been a crazy few months, so we hope to get back into our rhythm of posting. Yeah. We try to keep you updated when we're not able to go live on Twitter. So if you are on Twitter, we have a Twitter handle at Aaron and Danae. And like if I'm ill or my computer decides to not turn on, like it has recently, we will post updates there, although we do try to tell you guys our schedule when we're live. That's for our podcast listeners too. Thanks guys for hanging out in our podcast feed and being with us. We hope that you can join us for a live show someday. We go live on multiple places, and you can find links at Twitter or in the podcast description.
Yeah. You want to shoot a dough?
Let's shoot out.
All right, let's do it. We're going to do a DNA and U for the morning DNA. That is a D topic, an A topic, and as many U topics as we want to get through. The U topics are basically any question or conversation you want us to have. So if there's anything,
like a topic, if
you're curious what we think about it, or you have a question you want to ask us, just put a letter U at the beginning. You can do this anytime during the show. We will save them for the end. But yeah, anything you're curious, our thoughts on, it could even just be a subject you want to hear us talk about. Sometimes it's like a self-help section.
Thing?
Yeah. Sometimes people are like, hey, I've got this thing going on. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Any of that is great. We love it all. And that happens in the U questions at the end. But we start with the D topic today. What is your topic for today?
My topic for today is actually asking you guys for help. So this morning, Iris was trying to remember the rhyme that Aaron taught her. It was adorable, and I eventually helped her a little bit. She was trying to teach her father the buzzy buzzy bee. So I'm gonna I want your help. I'm gonna explain the situation to you, then I'm gonna put this up on the banner so you guys know what I need help with. Okay, I haven't put it there for a reason because I don't want you distracted. The idea is that you rhyme something random with a body part, and this is why this is going to get fun, I think, because you guys are wild. But it's interesting for a little person, like a 5-year-old, because if you say buzzy buzzy bee, buzzing around the shoulder, buzzy buzzy bee stings Iris in the shoulder, it gives the child a chance to try to figure out what boulder is going to rhyme with. And
right.
It's very
I think
clever.
You said shoulder both times, but yeah,
boulder, shoulder. Sorry.
Yeah. So it'd be buzzy buzzy bee flies around the tree. You know, buzzy buzzy bee stings Iris in the
knee.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So here's the rhyme that we're going. I thought it'd be kind of fun to make a list today, because this started off a fun conversation. It was so fun for her that she didn't want to get out of bed, which became a problem, of course, because we've all got to get up and get ready. But it was really delightful for her to try to figure out rhymes with body parts. So I gave her a suggestion that she could do with Justin, she did hose and nose, and there's all these ones. But there's lots of body parts. Now, my child is 5, so I will be running this through the filter from my family. However, this game can be played with adults as well, I'm sure. But the intention of my
The
question,
adult version
chat.
of Buzzy Bee.
I just have this feeling like someone's gonna watch this VOD later, and I'm gonna get
Mhm.
this random message on Twitch or a DM
Uh-huh.
on Twitter and be
Yeah.
like, okay. And there's just two words that rhyme that are really inappropriate. I'm gonna be like, block and
What are we
report.
what are we doing here? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really love this. Lolly says, you guys are perverts. The word is perverts today. Jetsmet says, a body part, you say. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Really, truly though, this is fun for me because I want to see what you guys have to add. There's lots of things. There's the easy ones, but there's also some ones I'm sure I haven't thought of, and you guys can think about those.
Yeah.
The fun part for me is this rhyme that Aaron threw out one day has become something that Iris gets so delighted by.
Nice.
And one of the things I'm realizing that happens when you have a kid is the phrase, like, to see it through a child's eyes. There is something about the way that her eyes get so big and shiny when she's trying to figure something out, or when she's excited, or when she's engaged.
Mhm.
I don't know if I do that in my life anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Like, I want to figure out how to have this same kind of expression, because when I was telling her one of them, I can't remember what it was. I think I said shed and head, maybe.
Mhm.
But when I said shed, her eyes got so big and blue. I mean, they're already blue, but they're so big. I guess the blue isn't surprising because, anyway, they're so big and shiny. She couldn't, like, contain her excitement for what was coming next. And I'm like, this
Yeah.
is just a silly rhyme. It was just a really, like, a powerful reminder for me that even these little silly things can become like little stories that you can kind of echo through your life. All right, I
Yeah,
have
this
not been watching the
so
chat.
so just a little bit of history as you're kind of thinking of your favorite rhymes here.
Yeah.
This is something my dad played with me when I was a kid. So I, learned it from my dad. I have no idea if he, got it from his mom or dad or whatever. But I played it with my boys, and it's just a hit, and it's not one I've seen. Like, it felt like our thing. Like, I don't think I've ever seen other parents play this game, but they have to. It has to be something that's known, because it's so fun for kids to just, like, be thinking, oh, where am I going
Oh
to get
yeah.
tickled? Where am I about to get tickled? Like, it is that whole thing of just like, like, where can I block? That kind of thing.
There's so, yeah, because at the same time you're kind of moving your finger around, and then you're gonna go touch it, and it's
Mhm.
supposed to be like this little,
Yeah, it's a tickle game. It's a tickle game.
It's a tickle thing.
Yeah.
Although we don't really tickle, we just poke.
Well, poking is kind of tickling.
So I know we've told this story before, but one of the funniest things about this was one of the things that Iris made up when we were at the table together. Aaron, will you tell the story? I love how you tell the story so much. Do you remember it?
I kind of do. She was just
She was
she was playing the game, and she was trying to
yes.
figure it out.
Uh-huh. And
I don't.
do you mean to send it? Okay, I'll tell the story.
Okay, you tell the
Okay.
story, because I don't
So-
want to get it wrong. It's been a long time.
Okay.
I think I know,
So
but
we're
you
sitting
go ahead.
at a public restaurant, by the way.
Mhm.
And Iris had been playing this game with multiple people, mostly Aaron, because she loves Aaron so much. And then it was her turn, and she turns to me and she goes, "Buzzy, buzzy bee, buzzing round the kitty." Now, my child is breastfed. She still has conversations about mama's milk. She's still like, when she comes around the corner, if I'm like coming out of the shower or something, she compliments that mama's milk is just something she loves, even though she doesn't have it anymore. Like, I know what this child is thinking about, but I'm thinking in my mind, I don't remember using the word titty ever. However, she's around other people.
It's true. It's true.
So I'm calculating that nonsense. I'm calculating that we're in public.
Where is she about to poke me?
I'm calculating that everyone at the table is also putting kitty and titty
Yes,
together. Like,
also knows what rhymes with kitty.
I don't know what's about to happen. She starts to buzz down my like body, and I'm just getting increasingly more like mortified and red. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. And she goes, "Buzzy, buzzy bee stings mommy in the tummy." So she does kitty in the tummy. So I'm immediately relieved, but I lose it
Oh
laughing. We
man, we
all.
laughed. We laughed so
Oh,
hard.
I was like, but at the same time, would have been great. Same time would have been great.
Oh man.
so,
Yeah.
so this game has a lot of history for us, and
Mm-hmm.
so we're having a really good time. Okay, we've got heart and fart.
So wait,
Thank
are
you,
you
Slab.
stinging in the heart or stinging in the fart? I think
I
you have to
think
sting in the
stinging in the
heart,
fart.
right?
Well, buzzing around the fart makes more sense, I
Yeah, buzzing
suppose.
around the fart and stinging in the heart. Yes. Yeah, I
Hmm?
think that would have to
Okay,
be
I'm
it.
gonna write that one down. That one works. Heart fart. Now, my grandmother would be mortified if I taught my daughter fart on purpose because she hates that word, but we're gonna
A
do
lot
it.
of people do. A lot of that is a vulgar word for a lot of people. You pass gas. You pass gas.
We say toot. We
Toot.
also say, wow, that stinks.
No
I
name
love this.
necessary.
I love this one from Lolly because it's bin and shin.
Uh-huh.
And bin, oh, hello, means trash can.
It
It's another word
does.
for trash can. So that's a fun one because
Yep.
that's more of a UK kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yep. You could do deck and neck is one that often do.
Deck?
Mm-hmm. Buzzy Buzzy Bee flew around the deck.
Yeah,
Buzzy
okay.
Buzzy Bee stung Iris in the neck.
But yeah, okay, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yep.
What?
Nope. That works. That works great. That works great. I love it. Hose and nose. That's a good one.
Uh-huh.
We've done that one before, but it needs to be on the list
I
because we
mentioned
cannot
tree and
forget it.
knee.
Tree and knee. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned boulder and shoulder.
I mentioned shoulder and shoulder.
You mentioned shoulder and shoulder. That's right.
Boulder, shoulder.
Uh-huh.
Those are fun. That's fun. Thank you, Jets Mets. That'll be the that's not what we're doing with the child.
For the podcast audience, the first word was stick, and we'll leave the second word up
Was
to your
neck.
imagination. Yes, it was neck, of course. Wreath and teeth.
Wreath and teeth. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something where I go into like my anatomy book and I'm like pectoralis major.
Glade and
Gluteus
shoulder blade.
Gluteus maximus.
Yeah.
Erector spinae. Oh, that's a good one. Buzzy buzzy bee, buzzing around the hay. Buzzy buzzy bee, stung Iris in the erector spinae. That'll be great. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. You could do sack and back.
Slow toes.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, slack back? What?
Sack, like
Sack.
Buzzy Bee flew around the sack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stung Iris. Or you could even reverse that one. If,
You really could.
depending on who you're
Depending
playing
on
with.
who you're playing it with. I like Jelly Belly. That's a good one. She'll like that
Yes,
one.
yes.
I appreciate you guys doing this fun this fun and random one with me. Thanks for hanging out, Jets. It's good to see you. My goodness, we had quite a few people join in the chat. Hi guys.
Creek and cheek was
I
mentioned.
like it. I like it. Okay.
Butte and glute. I think we have a winner in the clubhouse. Earth, Wind, and Firefox.
Oh
with,
my god,
Butte
I love
and
it.
glute.
Butte and glute. I just love butte.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Gin and chin. Iris is allowed to drink gin, right?
Yeah, totally. But also, well, gin is a card game, so we can
Ooh,
always
I've
just
got a
go
good
with that
one.
one.
Good one from Captain Rubble.
Okay, I'm ready.
Umbrella patella.
Yeah, I love this.
That's the knee, right?
Yeah,
Patella's
the patella.
the knee?
Well, the patella. Yeah, yep, it's a part of the knee. Yeah.
Part of the knee. Yep.
Yeah. I want to go to something Moxie said. Moxie says one of the reasons it feels time goes by faster as we get older is because we don't learn as many new things in a day. It's that natural curiosity and ability to experience and learn a brand new thing firsthand that makes a kid's eyes light up, I think. I think you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
125,000%, because she's so delighted by something that's just like my mind's going through all the different things too,
Hmm.
but hers is like reaching for these for the first time in a way, and she's really trying to expand into her brilliance. I love watching it because they just get so big, like anime eyes. I love it.
Lolly says, "Buzzy, buzzy bee, buzzing as we feared. Buzzy, buzzy bee stings Aaron in his beard.
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 Toboggan Noggin. I like that one too.
Ooh, toboggan noggin. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Guys, you're the best. Thank you for letting my topic today just be rhyming.
Rhyme a body part.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Amazing.
Very nice. Very nice.
Aaron, what's your topic today?
So, we, because of computer problems and various different things, haven't been able to do the show in a couple weeks. But in those couple weeks, the Morning DNA, which is also Shoe the Dough podcast, celebrated its 10th anniversary in the last couple of weeks. So we have been doing this together, Danae, for over 10 years now, over a decade of podcasting together.
I remember laughing at you when you said we were going to be doing this for a long time.
You did.
I did. I was
in fact, I made you say 5 years. You were like, fine, okay, I will do 5 years. And even then, I think you were like, yeah, no, we'll see.
We'll see about that. Yeah. Long-term commitment has not been something that I have tried my hand at until I met Aaron Dicer. So like one of the many things that Aaron has taught me is about, like pushing through discomfort a little more than you thought that you ever would or really have to, but you could, and what's on the other side of it. And
what's on the other side? Yeah.
And so Aaron's question about what's the biggest difference in you today from 10 years ago, that's immediately my answer. 110%. Like that's exactly the kind of person that I was when we met, was the kind of person that if a boss said some of the things that our bosses said to us, I'd be like, yeah, goodbye. And I would like leave because I don't want to be around people like that. Whereas Aaron's like, yes, but if you wait, maybe it gets better. But also maybe it gets better, but also maybe it gets better.
But also, even if it doesn't, maybe there's a better opportunity and a better way to evolve rather than just run. Like that there's an interesting way that, situations can adapt. And some situations are they're worth fighting for. They're just worth committing to and worth pursuing. And we've had ups and downs with this podcast. Are you kidding me? We've had ups and downs with the way we've seen it, like how we've seen it differently, what it should be differently. We fought through those things. We've fought through times when neither of us is excited to do it, times when one of us is really excited to do it and the other one's like, I'm not sure I want to do it right now. We fought through evolutions of what it looks like from, just being a podcast to being a live stream, all those kind of things. So, and all of that results in a history of growth, right? In a history of depth. For me, that's the biggest thing about longevity, is it adds this strength and foundation and depth, to things. So yeah, I'm just thinking like, how is your last 10 years be? If you look back to 2012, summer of 2012, how are you different right now? What do you think the biggest difference right now in the person you are? Could be take that, however you want, from 10 years ago. So there you go.
I want to say the first thing that I thought of was this.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
Although it's not 10,000 years, but
it's true.
It's 10 years. So
look at you with the quick clips. That was pretty impressive.
Hey, listen, I've been doing this stuff for a while. I
don't even know how you did that so quick. Like, did you download it and then upload it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Well done.
So one of the things that hasn't changed over the last 10 years is Aaron's super impressed with me.
That is true. Danae continues to impress, for sure.
Let's see. It Don't Connect says, I believe in climate change now. I did not 10 years ago.
Hey, no,
Right?
listen, belief to me, it's so exciting to watch people change what they believe. I think it is so interesting because as human beings, we want to fight for what we believe. We want to like ground in, and we're so good at rationalizing our own beliefs. We're so good at like building a case that will allow us to feel comfortable with what we believe. And man, I get really excited when people are more truth seekers than belief defenders, you know. And so yeah, I think that's a huge one to talk about, how we believe differently than we did 10 years ago. I certainly have many of those things in my life. So
Yeah, me
yeah.
too. And it's interesting too because we're talking about doing 10 years this podcast. Now we did have to take a break because our jobs were threatened. So we had to stop doing the show for just a brief moment, but you can go back and listen to our thoughts that are different potentially from 10 years ago because we've been releasing content on our own platform over the course of this last decade. So
Yeah.
yeah, thoughts change, times change, and
Absolutely.
evolution's really important. Doc says 10 years, the longest commitment I've ever made is living. And I don't even know about that yet.
Okay.
So, hey, listen, you just live day at a time. I loved living day to time. It actually taught me a lot, not having a plan. I meet people who have plans and they're like, in 5 years, I'm doing this, and in 10 years, I'm doing that. And I would just stare at them like, I don't even know how I'm going to eat today. And I'm okay
Mhm.
with that. Like, let's just let's go with the flow. And there's a nice balance as time goes on, at least for me. I hope it happens for you too.
Jetsmet says, for me, it's glasses. Danae wore different glasses 10
I
years ago.
did. I even
I just
have
love-
my other
That's a
glasses
turn
right
for
over
me.
here.
I'm like, oh, you didn't wear glasses before? No. He's talking about Danae's glasses are different
Yes.
from 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
You used to, or no, was it Justin that worked for Lynn's Crafters?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, you've definitely over our 10 years, I've probably seen you in 7 different pairs of glasses that became kind of the standard over those times.
You
I
sure
remember
did.
those. Yeah, I remember those.
These are my now they're my computer glasses. So we'll
Oh,
just
nice.
freak everybody out and switch to those right now. Michael says 10 years ago, the 10-year ago me thought that I'd have life figured out. Present day me understands how to figure it out in spite of not having life figured out.
I like that. I like
What
that.
a wonderful perspective. I really enjoy your perspective, Michael. It's good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yep. Let's see. Jet says 10 years ago I was more bitter and angry than I am today. That's a
Wow.
nice evolution, Jetsmet. Anger.
Anger or
Is
angerness?
angeriness. Anger is not a terrible thing. Anger is an important part of our life. There are certainly things we should get angry about. But what happens is when it festers, it becomes bitterness. And to understand like this idea of what bitterness is and how to process through it is a huge part of the evolution of being a human being. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's really good
I
stuff.
I definitely have learned how to let go of some things. I
Mhm.
realized something that helped me a lot, which seems like a big duh, but it is truly that I can control nothing in this world except for myself.
Yeah.
And so I started to spend less time mentally in other places trying to figure out how to make other things comfortable for me
Mhm.
or make sense for me and turn them into myself, because then if I am working on how I respond or I react or what I'm doing with my time and my life, then it impacts the people around me. And that's the fastest way for change for me, is just the people that are around me, making sure that there's a safety net and security in the people that are closest to me.
Yeah.
So that's a good
Yeah.
one. Lolly says 10 years ago, I was unmarried and living on another continent, working in a completely different industry.
It's been quite a 10 years, Lolly.
Oh, and I
Quite
didn't
a
have
10
glasses.
Quite a
like
10 years for you.
this one from Slenda is great because it says, "Oh hell, my whole life has changed permanently in just 1.5 years doing this thing."
Mm-hmm.
This
Sure.
thing probably being Twitch, if I know Derek well. Yes, a lot can change. 10 years is a long time too. There's certain things like
Mhm.
that, you look back and you're like, I used to do this all the time and now I don't. And then there's things that are like feel exactly the same. There's parts of me that feel exactly the same to the kid that was in preschool. And then there's parts of me that is just so different. So
Yeah.
figuring out like the core of who you are and then
Well,
riding that wave.
part of this exercise is for me is to go, because I think initially it's just a number, right? And you just go, oh yeah, we've been doing the show 10 years. And then I think about what has changed over 10 years. And I'm like, no, a decade is a long
It's a
time. Like
long
we've been
time.
doing this together a long time. And so
We
part
have.
of the exercise is to kind of be aware of exactly how long 10 years is and how much stuff can change.
But it's interesting because a year and a half can feel like 10. We were in a parking lot. We were walking from a restaurant into our car in a parking lot, as you do. And the adjacent parking lot was a building that we wanted to go to next. So I tell Iris, I'm like, we're going to go to the car. We're going to get in the car. We're just going to go super quick, just across the parking lot. We're going to go over there. We get in the car. I start it. And she says, this is taking forever. We're never going to get to the parking lot. And I said, time is relative, child. She was convinced it had taken way longer. She was angry with me because I told her it was going to be so fast. And she's like, this is taking so long. And I'm like, my God, my God,
Yeah.
like this is so fast for me. And for her, it genuinely feels like so quickly. But there's something about the telltale stamps of time. Like we can't deny that 10 years has passed. It might feel like 20, 1.5 might feel like 10, but there's like these demarcations, and certainly hitting a decade of putting out podcast content is a big one.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way, Slenda, and all of you. Here's one from Captain Rebel.
Yeah.
City boy becomes beach bum with gray beard. That's the clickbait. That's the clickbait headline.
Yeah.
What's the full story?
How did this city boy become a beach bum with a gray beard in 10 years' time?
And how does he feel about seagulls? Stay tuned.
Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Scanning through. I like this one also from Captain Rebel. Stay on the Captain Rebel train. Much better at forgiving others and myself. Embracing forgiveness over the last 10 years. Man, it's a powerful thing. It kind of plays into maybe one of my biggest changes over the last 10 years is not so much the forgiveness part of things, but the blame part of things. I'm a blame eater. I always have been from the time I was a kid. Like I learned very early on that one of the easiest ways to find peace and forgiveness and like reconciliation was for me to go, my bad. I'm so sorry I screwed that up. I genuinely apologize. And what's interesting is I would genuinely apologize for things that probably weren't my fault in a lot of my relationships, just because I loved that feeling. And over the last 10 years, I've been learning that has negative consequences. It has negative consequences for the relationships in your life. It has negative consequences for me. And so I've been more willing to really parse the idea of blame, the idea of guilt, the idea of how you own it, how you don't own it, and the idea of how you internalize it. That's probably been the biggest thing. Because it wasn't like I was just lying to get peace. I was internalizing things as my fault that may not have been my fault. And so to learn how not to internalize other people's views of a situation has been a really, really big one for me. And it's been really healthy, really helpful for me long term. So, yeah.
I've been really proud about you with that. That's one of the things that's really interesting too, is that you and I, it's not that we've just been working together for over 10 years and podcasting for 10 years, but we've also been friends this whole time. And so like watching each other's journey is also fun. And that's something about longevity with things. There are some things that are private, like you guys are sharing some things that maybe nobody else has really witnessed. They're like internal things that you've been doing. But it's also really interesting to have people in your life, if you have that luxury, not everybody has.
It's true.
Just that time that they can look back and go, yeah, I remember that person. I remember that you went through that struggle. I think we all want to be seen and known and have somebody witness parts of our life. I think that's one of the reasons why we try to align ourselves with others and do life together so that other people get to see your journey also. So if you haven't started on that part yet, I think it's a really valuable thing to seek out. I'm not talking about like getting married. I'm talking about finding people that you can kind of like do life with. That's really valuable. I got some like gaming friends now we're about to hit a year anniversary with meeting a group of gaming friends. And it's so fun to connect with them and say, gosh, a year ago we were doing this. And that reflection is really, really important to do for yourself and also to do that with other people. Like I get to say very confidently that I've watched you go through that struggle, Aaron, and it was good, deep work.
Yeah. Well, you were one of the first people in my life who was like, why are you taking blame for this? This one's on me.
We would literally be in the studio live on radio or something. Like we're in there, we're doing our thing, and I would do something. Let's say it was as simple as like I dropped a pencil on the floor, and Aaron's instinct reaction was sorry about that. And I'm like, I dropped that pencil on the floor. Why are you apologizing about something that I did? Or I would forget something and you'd be like, hey, I'm sorry about that. Dude, that was on me.
Yeah. Well, I would do the simple thing of like, oh, I should have remembered it too. Like I should have been there to, pick up the slack, just simple things like that I don't have to. And the problem isn't that maybe that's part of that could be true or whatever, but the problem is I internalize it to where it's all mine, and I own it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be like, you did send me 6 emails. So I think this is actually like really on me.
Fair,
the other fun thing about Aaron is that it wasn't just like an instant like, oh, thanks. Yeah, that was on you. Thanks. It was like he would fight for it. He'd like be like, no. Nope. No. This was definitely mine. I'm like, what are you doing right now? We'd have like deep conversations about all the ways it wasn't his fault. And then at the end, he'd be like, I'm really sorry that it took so long for that.
Polly says 10 years ago, my back surgery was my back surgery, and that changed my life huge. Went from physical jobs to more technical jobs. Even got my bachelor's degree in there. Man, that's a huge life change, Polly.
Ooh,
well done getting through that. Yeah.
My God, any kind of physical damage that your body has sustained and you've been able to keep going for 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
JCD says, let's see, 10 years. I've earned a bachelor's and master's degree. I have a girlfriend. I've made some amazing friends and amazing communities. And I'm a guest producer on a podcast per Danae. P.S. Can I get that in writing, BT dubs?
Hey, don't think I haven't seen you tweeting that. I'm ignoring you for a reason, buddy. I'm just kidding. I'm being a butt.
Jet also says, now I live in Las Vegas. I'm much happier and have let go a lot of angrier about things I couldn't control.
Good.
Yeah.
It don't connect. I wasn't a feminist 10 years ago. It's
nice.
incredible.
Yeah.
Oh no, Pojo says, I totally don't think I'd live outside of the US 10 years ago, but ended up living overseas. Opened up my mind a lot. I would love that.
Yeah.
Slenderman says, in 10 years, okay, I got my degree and I was working in an industry I love that would be my career. I started 3 businesses. I had never, ever made anything myself with my own hands, and now I create full-time for a living every single day. I've gone from a boy to a man. Oh, my. I am proud of doing what I love every single day.
Nice.
That's a big one. That's awesome. Lolly, 10 years ago, I had no idea what Twitch was.
You and a lot of people.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Wait, what is it? AIDS
what
says,
is this, AIDS?
I've been a guinea pig for a drug for almost 9 years. Only person in the world that has been on it for what I'm taking it for that amount of time. That's wild.
Are you like in a study?
I mean,
you have to be in a study.
They're the only
You're saying
one.
Guinea pig.
Yeah.
Gosh, I hope that it's going well. What an incredible thing to be willing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like that. I was just reading about this guy who, when he was a child, maybe, or he was really, really young, he had to have a blood transfusion. And so he's gone every single day or whatever the story was to give blood himself his whole entire life. And it turns out like he has some sort of antigen that's really rare that has like helped other people. So he's giving back. And I don't know, for some reason, AIDS, your comment reminded me of that.
Yeah.
It was for 3 years and now it is off trial. Wow. So that's incredible. I hope it's adding to your life. Obviously it would be, or you wouldn't be on it.
So Hi says, 10 years ago, I had a really hard time establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries in healthy relationships. I feel like I'm actually really great at that now, thankfully.
Speaking of somebody who's been in your life for a long time, this beautiful woman here in the chat is someone who's known me since I was probably 15 years old. So she's seen me through a lot of stages of life, and I've seen her through many, many, and she's amazing. It's good to see you. so he la shoot.
Yep.
10 years ago, I was a child, says Moxie. And now I am a valid,
a child. A
A
child
child.
with adult responsibility
but
and
I like
privilege.
valid, like it's
Uh-huh.
kind of like invalid, but not. Now I'm a child with adult responsibilities and privileges. Chaos. There's just more chaos. Yes.
No, it is. The 10-year
It's
exercise
managing
is
chaos.
interesting, but the adult to child exercise is also a really interesting one, because I think it probably was about 10 to 15 years ago. I came to the revelation that many people have had before me and many people have had earlier than me, that we're all just the child version of ourselves,
yeah.
pretending to be adults. We what I mean,
Well,
I think it's a fair word. I
Okay,
think it's
okay.
a fair word.
I think there's parts of life we're always going to pretend because it's new and we're just trying to figure it
Mhm.
out, right?
Yeah.
Which is that childlike thing. But then as you get older, you genuinely have experiences to pull from, and you're
Right,
genuinely
you
able
are
to
an
give
adult.
like,
Yes.
I know what I'm
Yes.
talking about. 90% sure. You
Or
know,
the
like-
other way. Things I thought I knew, I don't
Mhm.
know. You know,
Like,
yeah.
I can confidently say I should not eat ice cream now. I know this. I've been through it many times. So there's certain things, or your advice you give, or even professional advice that you're giving. I always leave that caveat that there's new information. Someone always knows more than me. But you do gain knowledge that you can then share with other people. So you are a child in a lot of ways, but you also, just by being on the planet longer,
Mhm.
have more perspective to share just by being around. So
Yeah.
it's a nice little balance. I say that because one of the things, and I'm not going to say that it's for any particular reason, but a lot of my life was spent being dismissed by what I know and what I'm confident in, and like the advice that I can give, or the perspective, or the professionalism that I have, or whatever. It's just kind of dismissed at the table for various reasons. And it's just really interesting how, as I've gotten older, when someone listens to my advice or listens to what I have to say, they dismiss it, and then they find out like my age or my experience, and then they listen. It's really interesting.
Mm.
I want that to stop eventually, but
Mhm.
it's just kind of a natural thing. Like if you say, I've been doing this for 10 years, they'll lean in more because like, oh, tell me more. But if you are kind of in the different phases in the journey, or their perception of their different phases of the journey, they'll like dismiss, you.
Probably
And I'm
dealing
not-
with inherent
I'm
gender
saying-
bias as well. Like that whole thing.
I wasn't going to go into that topic, but,
But it's true. But it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah, I just don't want to crutch that. Like that's not a crutch. But it's definitely, I'm sure, played a lot into being dismissed over the years. They hate it so much. It's fine. Everything's fine. I've worked really hard at releasing all of the friendships.
Over the last 10 years, it's all coming back. Castro says, 10 years ago, I thought I would go to college to be an aerospace engineer. Switched to
Whoa.
computer science immediately after the intro class because AE is boring.
Boring.
Yeah, I was going to be a deep earth miner in college, but that whole topic is
Oh, no.
boring.
Wow. We're moving on. Captain Rebel says,
Come on,
I'm
that's
really...
a good one. That's a good one.
Dude, as soon as you said minor, I was like, oh dear. Captain Rebel says, I'm really enjoying going from adult to a child. Well done. That's how it goes.
Good job. Good job.
Mhm.
Moxie says invalid works too. I mean, I do also have diabetes now, so you're not wrong, and laughs. My son was diagnosed with type 1 about well, I guess that was more like 15 years ago now. But I'm just thinking of my differences. That made me think of my differences in like the parenting I'm doing. Like now he's out on his own, he's married. Like, 10 years ago, I was heavy into helping him understand his insulin pump and all that kind of stuff. And my life is so different now
Yeah.
in the regards to parenting. I have one child at home who will graduate next year. So I mean, technically over the summer I have two because one comes home from college, but yeah, so wild to think of that stuff.
Speaking of the children's, here's one from Polly. Getting two of my kids to not just say sorry all the time as a reflex, and to get the other two to say sorry when they're supposed to is a hard task.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on that before we kind of move on to the U topics today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are always have incredible feedback on all of this. Oh, I see we're both in the stuff doing the stuff. We're clicking the stuff at the same
We're
time.
clicking the stuff. We're clicking the stuff. Well, you ready to move on to the you questions, you topics?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
We can do that. So we are going to hear from you now. What do you want us to talk about? You are in charge. That's why we call it the you section. So put the letter U at the beginning of whatever topic, question, advice request, whatever it might be that you have for us. And we'll get to as many as we can and as many as we want. And anything goes. Ask any question you want. Genuinely. Ask anything you want. We don't have to answer it if we think it's whatever, but yeah, we are open to all sorts of discussions. So
let's start off with this one from Moxie, who asks, do you think there are more eyes or legs in the world? Now, is this for humans, or is this like animals, insects? Like, is this like,
yeah, because if we include insects, it's obviously
alive?
eyes, right? Because
legs.
No. If we
100% legs.
No. Because there are millions. Like each fly has like a million eyes.
But think about centipedes and millipedes.
Yeah, that's thousands and hundreds. That's
You think an eye has 1,000 or fly has 1,000?
How many eyes? How many? Let me see. They're compound eyes. So I do. Okay, so we need to know. Are we
all of the above? Everything goes. Anything.
Okay,
living.
so are we counting compound eyes as one eye or separate eyes?
Can I do a poll? I'm gonna create a poll. Do you think there are? Wait. Hold on. More eyes or legs in the world? I don't do polls.
This is a great question, by the way.
Eyes, legs. Okay. We're gonna put this up for just a few minutes.
So flies.
All right. If you're in my chat, you've got a poll.
So flies' eyes, you can qualify them as two eyes, one on each side, but each of those eyes has hundreds up to 1,000 individual, what we would call eyes, like do the job of what ours do. So each housefly in the world has 2,000 eyes if we count them as
2,000.
Yes. As if we count them.
Stop looking at me, fly!
Stop staring at me, Swan.
No wonder it knows when I'm coming for it.
Yeah.
There was this fly
absolutely.
that has clearly is struggle bussing. It's probably not alive today. It was alive yesterday, but it was like one of those flies that probably hasn't found food or water in the house for a long time now. It's on its last leg of many legs. And still I couldn't catch it. And it was going so slow. It like lop along my leg. And I'm like, get off of me. And so I thought, you know what? I got this one. I'm going to Karate Kid this thing without chopsticks. And I couldn't catch it. Now I know. I know they have eyes. I didn't realize that that many eyes.
There are also many crustaceans that have over 1,000 eyes. Now that I'm looking at this.
I don't know. I was really thinking legs because you got millipedes and centipedes.
Again, it just depends on if you're counting compound eyes. Like, I really think that there's so many houseflies in the world. I think it would be eyes if we're counting them as.
Castro says if we count skeletons, there's way more legs. I feel
skeletons. What do you mean? What do you mean if we count skeletons? What does that even mean? If we count skeletons,
it counts. I get it. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Those aren't legs. It's not living anymore.
What do you mean? It was once alive. It counts.
A leg is more than just the bones. A leg is more than just the bones. If look, you can count the ocular cavities as eyes. Then listen.
I'm just feeling like I'm just thinking about like the whale. A whale has two eyes but one leg. So you're probably right. I think it's probably eye, but I really was thinking legs. There's so many.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then there's the movie The Hills Have Eyes. Everything has eyes. Are we counting artificial?
Monarch butterflies have 12,000 eyes.
Stop your madness. Quit it.
12,000.
Pixar didn't happen. Show me pictures.
Do you know an animal that has 12,000 legs? I think not.
Okay, 12,000 eyes. Monarch butterfly. Let's see if I can pull up a picture. Now, for the podcast listeners for later, I'm going to try to describe this for you if I can find a picture. Surely there's a photo. Oh, yikes! Whoo! All right. We got a picture. Let's see if I can share this.
So I think that is the defining question. I'm with you on legs unless we're counting compound eyes as
Guys,
lots of different eyes. So
do you see this?
yeah. That's amazing. It's like almost a full globe of individual eyes. Like there's
It looks like there's a tiny little insect in the middle of the eyes. Like you see like in the bridge of the nose kind of area between the eyes. It looks like there's another insect there with more eyes on it. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Look at this. Look at this thing right here. Look at that. Tell me that this is not another insect.
There's another insect
growing
face growing out of the middle
with
of the
more
butterflies.
eyes. Good Lanta. Although 8 says that still only counts as 2. I appreciate
Eights can
this.
say that all they want. I'm just saying that's the question we have to answer.
Look at those tiny. Okay, this looks like somebody took a basketball, Control-C, Control-V'd way too many times on it. We have a surface tint, like the surface of this thing is just nothing but like those little bitty bulbs. But it's beautiful looking. Oh my gosh, that's scary.
Yeah.
And when I mean scary, I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Sometimes you shouldn't zoom in. You know what I mean? Sometimes you shouldn't zoom in on those
Sometimes
things.
you should not.
Okay, the poll is almost over. That means we've spent 5 minutes now talking about eyes versus legs. What a great question to start off with. And let's see what the results are here. At present, 57% of my chat says eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. I again, once you answer that question, and I think I would answer it that compound eyes count as individual eyes. They all act individually. I think eyes wins. Like, I don't think there's any way it doesn't.
All right.
But yeah.
No. Listen, this is why you have a friend like Aaron who's analytical. If you were my buddy, I'd be like, legs, let's move on. But he's like, let's think about this for longer than 20 seconds today.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the next question. That was a really fun question. Let's see. Here's a question from Lolly who asks, have you forgiven Ian for Kendall mint cake yet? Now, let's give some context for this. Ian is our friend from England who came to visit for several months here in the U.S. And before departing back home, we went to a candy store and they had an entire section of like UK candies. We didn't know that. So he was so delighted to be like, oh, this one and this one and this one. We got a whole bunch. And one of them is called the Kendall mint cake. He picked this one up because I love mint. And then we went to the airport. We sat down at like a little airport table and tried multiple candies from the UK before he had to fly back home. Aaron, how was this for you? What did you think?
It was fine. One thing I've noticed about the UK candy I've had is it is super sweet. Like there's I forget what it was even called, but it was like a honeycomb type candy. We don't have anything similar to this that I know about, but it was basically like a chocolate covered honeycomb. And it was so intense, like I could barely take it. And that's kind of true with like the toffee stuff we had was a little intense. I didn't mind it though. I thought it was fine. But then when you get to the Kindle mint cake and you're like, I'm eating a piece of soap.
Okay.
And not because of taste, but texture and the way it crumbles.
Get it. I still have it here.
Well, that should say something about how good it is. The fact that you still have.
No. Let's go there. I love Kindle mint cake. I really am enjoying it. It's something that you eat on for a while because it is made of wax. And I will say this.
It tastes like it's made of wax. I don't know that it really is.
It's like a waxy sugar with mint flavor. And it's definitely not meant to be like a candy bar. Like you don't just eat it. So I have this oddly in my bathroom. Don't judge. And
that's where it looks like it should go.
Justin actually thought that it was soap. He literally thought it was soap.
If I saw one of those at the bottom of a urinal, I would not think twice. What do you
mean the bottom of a urinal? What do you mean?
Oh yeah, sorry. You're not familiar with urinal cakes.
Oh yeah, why? What is no? Did you say urinal cake?
Urinal cakes. You don't know. You don't even know about urinal cakes. Okay, so It is a way
The flavor that I just imagined in my mouth is the most disgusting thing.
Why did you imagine that? It's terrible.
You
Why did
said
you make your brain do
urinal
that?
and you said cake. I have no choice, but suddenly I'm like secreting on the sides of my freaking neck. Oh God! Quick!
Why
Aaron,
you don't have to think about tasting everything you said out loud.
finish your thought. Let's end this.
Okay, it looks just like a Kindle Mint. Maybe it's a lot of them are pink. And they
Oh,
just
God.
sit at the bottom of a urinal, and they're meant to deodorize and clean and wash or whatever. But yeah, they're just urinal cakes. Yeah, that's what they're called. Yes, yeah.
Can we call them something other than cake? Cube, bar, chunk.
I'll find out the technical
Anything.
term. What is a urinal cake called?
Wait, you urinate on something to dissolve it so that
Yes.
it smells better?
Yes. Yeah. You aim for it. Urinal deodorizer block. You could go with that.
Block is better. Just like I want it to be blocking from my memory. To go back to the Kendall Mint cake. Oh, sure.
Do you want a picture of one inside a urinal, or do you want a picture?
You know what? As long as it's not something disgusting to look at, I don't mind.
Okay, I've got a picture of one here. Let's see. What's the best way to do this? Yeah, share urinal cake.
I mean, I completely understand. So chat's telling us a lot about, urinal life and everything. We have urinals where you can get the cake through the goal. It's a target in the urinal. You have to pee on it. It's a rule. Like if I had a penis and I was able to pee
there you
like
go.
you guys do, that is not real. That is not real. Aaron Dicer, shame on you. Okay, podcasters, he has just shown a picture of a flushing urinal. And at the forefront of the urinal is a teeny tiny, like maybe the size of a cupcake, birthday cake with a little lit candle on the top. That is not true.
No. This is probably the more
if I could pee, if I could pee like you guys pee, I completely understand having like games where you aim and stuff. Like, why wouldn't you do that? That's a delight. Why wouldn't you?
Why not?
Oh my God. Every man has seen one. There's just things I've never seen because I don't regularly go in there.
Well, here you go. Here's the real deal. That's what we're used to seeing at the bottom of a urinal.
That's a hockey puck.
It's a pink hockey puck.
Why not call it a pee puck?
A pee puck.
The pee puck is right there, guys. Come on. Oh, look. Polly just said you need to see the pee puck. Polly, we are doing this. You never use a she pee? No, Captain Rebel. Although I have thought about it because I have this odd goal of writing my name in the snow someday, and that's one of the ways.
that's the only way you're going to be able to do it.
That's one of the ways that I would be able to do it. I mean, I've thought about having to have grip strength and a large tree, a lot of tea, and then just like acrobatics. I've thought about it too much. Let's just be honest. I've thought about moving on. Moving on. Let's go to the next question from Jetsmets. If you had to listen to a song 10,000 times in a row, what song would it be? Definitely something from the Rumors album with Fleetwood Mac. Probably You Could Go Your Own Way.
That's not bad.
Because I think that's got a good kind of like drive to it. It kind of has an ups and downs. There's a nice like little instrumental in there. It's something that I could put on repeat and probably not lose my mind.
Yeah, I think go ahead.
Oddly, I just realized something. So I used to wait tables at this restaurant, this little pizza parlor called McSalty's Pizza in Springfield, Missouri. And the owner of the restaurant would put on Rumors album on repeat all day long. I never knew what album it was because I wasn't familiar with Fleetwood Mac. It would be years later I would realize that it was Fleetwood Mac. And somehow I like knew all the songs like deep in the recesses of my mind. And this song would play all the time. So that's probably one of the reasons I'm confident is that in my years of waiting tables, I think I probably have heard this song 10,000 times, and I really don't mind it. So that's my answer.
My brain's doing a lot of things here. So there's immediately I'm thinking of which is better, longer or shorter? Because if you go with a shorter song, you're done faster. If you go with a longer song, there's more variety. So you feel like maybe you're not stuck in the same time loop forever. 10,000 is
A
a
long time.
lot of times in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm debating, like, I'm sure there's
Like how much time is 10,000? So if the average song is 2.5 minutes long, like multiply that out. That's how long you'd
so
be listening.
10,000 minutes is 166 hours. So, that's
Okay.
not quite 10 days. It's somewhere in the like week range. So for about a week, if you found a minute long song, you'd be listening for about a week. If you found a 2 minute, long song, you'd be listening for about 2 weeks. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to just go with the shortest song I can find. I think I'm just going to go with the shortest song I can find.
What's the
Because
shortest song?
I don't like that's the other part of the definition is what do you get to count a song? Can
My gosh.
Iris just sing me something for a few seconds and then I play that 10,000 times in a row?
The
Like,
problem is if you ask my child to sing you a song, it will last for 10 minutes.
all right. then can I sing
Iris,
myself?
sing
Can I
me a
hum to
song.
myself?
I like trees and the bush outside is green and
'Cause I could be-
flowers and I sing
Like
a song
if
for
I
you.
just
And she'll
if I
go
just
and
did
go and
like,
go.
like I love this song and that was my song, then I'd be done in like 4 hours. And I'm just thinking this is going to be torture at some point. So yeah, I'm going with short as possible.
It's also not specified how loud it needs to be. It's just listen to a song.
Okay.
I just think like put it in the background at like 10-20% volume and then just
Okay.
go about your
Yeah,
life for
some
a few
volume
days.
rules. Yeah, some volume rules would be important. If we can put it at a low volume and control the volume, like and turn it up every once in a while, I'd probably go with Bohemian Rhapsody. Something that like has different sections that I can really enjoy and yeah, turn it up during the parts I
Okay.
like and then turn it down for a while if I need to. But yeah.
Updated for Aaron. What song could you listen to for 10,000 times?
Times. Isn't that the same question? How is that a different question?
Lolly asks, let's follow up. Toffee crisp or Kendallman cake? Aaron, I think you said toffee, right?
Oh, the toffee for sure.
I
Toffee
go
for sure.
Kendall.
I didn't like them. Yeah, I didn't like the Kindle Mint.
I
that much.
like the Kindleman a ton, but I just have a tiny little bite and then I just go about my day. Here's what it's like. It's like eating gum. It's like a little bit of a flavor booster in your mouth and then you're done. And I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. You want to try to get through a couple more of these?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. Captain Rebel says, almost dinner time. Surf or turf?
Surf. For sure. Give me some fish.
I think I'm going to agree. No, I think I'm going to agree. I love a steak. Like I love a good steak, but I feel like I like fish better. So, and
Yeah.
especially if I can include like lobster or shrimp or like anything from the ocean in the surf part, then definitely because there's more variety than just steak. Because I think turf just means steak, right? Or does it also mean like ham and beef? Like could turf be bacon? I've never heard it, like referenced that way. So, so the generally the way I understand surf and turf, I would go surf.
All right, here we go from JCD. What's a soundtrack to a game or TV show or movie that still hits for you on all cylinders? Example, MVP Baseball 2005 has a soundtrack that still slaps, in my opinion. Man, I love soundtracks.
I will never get tired of Lord of the Rings. I could listen to that soundtrack
so good
10,000 times in a row.
And moving on. Secondary question for Danae. Under some circumstances, my D&D... Ooh, this is a D&D question. I'm so excited. My D&D campaign that I DM had its first player character death. Oh, no. Let's say there was a horse, one nat 20, several nat 1s involved. What's the most absurd way that you've had a PC die in D&D? Well, I haven't had a PC die in D&D. I did do a one shot where I DM'd while Ian was in town. He really wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, and we did not plan it early enough in his stay, so we kind of did it at the very, very end. And I've known from talking to so many friends that D&D one shots are very long, and so because everyone has jobs, etc., we split it up into 2 nights. And the first night was really fun. The second night was going to be like the big battle. I fully planned on just like slaughtering everyone, and it didn't go that way. So I have yet to kill a PC, a player character. And that's frustrating for me because I feel like I'm failing a little bit as a DM. But what I loved is that everyone left having a blast and they all want to play more. And that's really important to me. So I never had I almost had a character, my character die in a crazy way where one of the other players turned themselves into a giant ape. And then they decided that they were going to attack us, their friends, because in their mind, the ape's mind was like a little bit wacky. Like it kind of went crazy for a second. They were just, they're playing the character that they thought that they should play. So he like basically crushed my character, and I had to do what's called death saving throws because in Dungeons and Dragons, you don't die when you get to 0 hit points. You still have a chance to come back and stabilize after you do some stabilization rolls each turn for 3 turns. But if you roll a nat 1, 2 of those 3 death saves are gone. So I rolled a nat 1 and I only had 1 chance to stabilize, and the entire table was holding their breath. I roll the die and I get a nat 20, which means that I actually pop back up with 1 hit point. It was absolutely the wildest thing. We were screaming so loud. I was convinced the neighbors were going to call the police or something because we were like, it sounded like murder was happening. We're just like, ah! The whole table, every single person that was playing was just freaking out because dice rolls are like that. They're unpredictable, and that's the fun of D&D. Is that, yeah, you're telling a story and yeah, you're trying to win against a battle or whatever you're trying to do. But the great chaos, the great equalizer of that game is the chaos of the dice. And that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
I know that doesn't answer your question, but there's a fun story to share.
JCD says, tertiary question. Would you rather fight a monster with 1,000 eyes or a monster with 1,000 legs?
1,000 legs, I feel, because 1,000 eyes means that they can see wherever I go.
Mm-hmm.
But 1,000 legs means if I can get to the higher ground somehow, maybe I can swing around and take out its eye, so that then it's just a trample situation.
1,000 legs could be a hindrance, even. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's depending on how the monster is constructed. There's so many other factors to this monster that the same monster, and the only difference is 1,000 eyes or 1,000 legs. I think I'd give almost every monster 1,000 legs because I think dealing with 1,000 legs is annoying.
You still have to, like, there's still the kill shot, right? You see the monster coming, you decide what's its weak spot. If you have to take out 1,000 legs to kill it, that's a lot. But
why would you have to take out every single leg to kill the monster?
I don't know this monster. I don't know its stat block. I'm not sure. I'm thinking you just remove the head or like go for the brain shot. Listen, this is, again, a lot of D&D and video game playing here. This monster's terrifying, by the way. But 1,000 eyes would see you, so I would definitely...
Yeah, 1,000 eyes is a distinct strategic advantage. 1,000 legs is not necessarily a strategic advantage. The only thing you get with 1,000 legs, depending on the rest of the body, by the way, it had to be like a segmented body. The only advantage you get is a little bit of movement, like movement dexterity. Like, that's the only thing you would get with 1,000 legs, unless I'm missing something. So yeah, I would take the 1,000 legs. Medina says, whose autobiography would you love to read?
Ooh,
I'm gonna go with Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller.
Man, my first instinct is Beyonce.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of like go, but I kind of want to read about someone that's like me and just like a normal person. Like just like a basic person that had something extraordinary happen that like when I'm reading I can relate to it a little bit more. But maybe, that's the thing about autobiographies, I feel, is you end up reading something really interesting that makes you realize that you have a lot more in common than you think. Beyonce fascinates me for a lot of reasons. I think anyone who just really, really dedicates themselves and works hard and just puts themselves out there. There's a part of her that's really interesting, kind of reminds me of Sia in a way, where she talked about like having to go into this like alternate personality to just like push through some of the fear of performing and stuff. And I can relate to that. Although I don't have an alternate personality. I can relate to one, or Sia when she covers her eyes when she sings. I can relate to that. Like when I sing, I want to hide and just sing and not be seen, which is one of the reasons I like Masked Singer so much.
Do you? I didn't know you watched that show.
I don't.
Oh, you just like the concept.
I do.
Got it. Sorry,
That's okay.
I got
That's okay.
confused there for a second.
Nope, that's okay.
Yep.
Their costumes are amazing, though.
Yeah, no,
So
it's pretty
cool.
impressive.
Like that Firefly costume. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
10,000 eyes on that Firefly costume. No,
Wow.
probably not.
I don't know.
Slab says, "You question, is microwave tea considered a soup?"
No,
Yeah, that's a no.
because there's nothing like edibly floating in it, right? Like, I guess.
It could be considered a broth, but not a soup.
Yeah.
Definitely not a stew.
I feel like if you drink soup, it's more of a drink. I feel like it's how you consume it more than it is the container or whatever.
Yeah.
So like if you drink your tea with a spoon, then I think yes, it's like more of a broth or soup.
You mean eat your tea with a spoon?
If you eat your yeah. But then eating is like chewing, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because
Wow.
you do eat you can eat broth.
Wow.
Right? Or do you just drink broth? I don't know.
I just drink broth. Well, sometimes I slurp. Sometimes I like spoon slurp.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It just depends.
Interesting follow up. Is Chicago deep dish pizza a casserole? No, it's not. I like the crust alone makes it a pie. Like it is a pie. And in fact, a lot of people don't know this. Casserole is not a type of food. It is a type of dish.
Yeah,
So
it's
technically,
a dish.
it's technically anything made in a
baking pan.
casserole dish could be
So
called a casserole. But
if
yeah,
a Chicago deep dish is baked in a casserole dish, then it's a casserole pizza.
yeah, it could be. But I even
No,
then
it
I
is.
think if you put crust around a casserole dish,
Mhm.
I think you're just baking a pie wrong. Like that is
If you put it around the outside, so it's like crust, glass, interior,
right.
just to troll people, then
Right.
you're a troll.
That's right.
That's
right.
how that works. Wow.
Hey,
Guys,
nice.
great questions
Yeah,
today.
thanks for hanging out with
super
us.
fun.
Yeah, I had a good time.
We are going to head off to work to do the rest of our normal life stuff, as we all have to do. But starting off with you guys every Monday, it's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite ways to start the week, because I don't know, we have really fun conversations. So thank you for spending time with us. Did my tea question get answered? I had to step away for a second. Yes, Slab, it was answered. You'll have to just rewind a little bit. If you're on
podcast Slab.
there you go. Listen to the podcast, or you can click on my icon on Twitch and it'll open up the stream and you can back it up just a little bit. And Jets Mets is correct. The answer is both yes and no. We answered that question. We go live every Monday and Sunday. You can catch our podcast, Shoe the Dough, all 10 years of it, still available for you to go back and listen to. We haven't archived our old shows, though we've had conversations about doing so, mostly because we want to continue to try to be an example of how to just be human and mess stuff up and learn and have that content be something you guys might find interesting thoughts of. So for those of you that are going back and listening to all of our old content, you're welcome to bring things to the table. Like, hey, you guys
absolutely.
talked about this in the past. How do you feel about it now? I love when we get those kinds of conversations. That's some of my favorite chats that you guys will bring up, or moments like that. You can also follow us on Twitter, as I mentioned. You've got Aaron. He does a lot of stuff. He does something over on his Twitch channel, which is at Aaron Dicer. And over there, he does movie reviews on the weekends. So if you guys are movie lovers, please go follow him on Twitch and make sure that you're subscribed and getting the notifications. He does a live show with other movie lovers where they review like content that's coming out, things like that, on a show called Sift Pop, which birthed right here on our show.
It sure did.
And anything else that I'm missing, Aaron? I know we're gonna raid out to See Not Bush today because he is doing something pretty freaking cool over there, and I wanna go.
Just to reiterate how much we love you and how much we appreciate you hanging out and talking about stuff with us. It is indeed a great way to start the week. So we will see you on the next Monday or someday.
Yeah, we will see you guys on the next Monday, maybe someday. Are we ever gonna do a Sunday?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Are we sure?
Someday.
But for now, we'll see